What's on, man? It's Deion Dawkins, and you listening to the Real Deal Sports Show on the Beat 105.5.
Yes, sir. Coming to you live from the Rock Palm Broker Studio, Real Deal Sports Show with the Radman. It's Internet Passport. We have Bilal. We have BacSpin. We also have, of course, the Radman. And he had something he needs to get off his chest. He needs something that he needs to say when it comes to the NBA. We want to watch winners, not losers. But some teams, what, Radman, they want to lose to win down the line? But how can players do that? You know what? I'm just going to leave this to a Radman rant. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to Real Deal Sports Show on YouTube and Facebook, because it's time for that Radman rant.
I told you his ass should have been ran after the 13-second game. Everybody knew it. You should have fired his ass. The guy should have been gone. You get a lead with 13 seconds left. How do you lose the game? How does it happen once again? Not only lose the game, but trying to lose on purpose? That's unbelievable. Don't even take 13 seconds. You start the game losing. I wish I would have known before I paid $25, $30 for a pastrami sandwich and chips at the Chase Center to see that I didn't know Stephen Curry wasn't playing, and I didn't know who the hell half of the Golden State players were out there playing on that Monday night, Monday, February 9th, when the Memphis Grizzlies were in town to play the Golden State Warriors at the Chase Center. Dropped down $84 for the seat, and then I had to leave the seat because the seat was so tight, man. My knees were even comfortable, man. I said, damn, I done paid over $100 and something, almost $120 for this. And I'm sitting there. I walk around and I explained to some of the ushers, a nice guy was a guy standing named Fred. He was like, yeah, bro. I said, I know what you're saying, sir. He said, here, I got something. Man, at least he hooked me up with the handicap seats that were kind of open that night, and I was able to get into the handicap section and use a regular cushion chair and stretch my feet out and put my food down to the side in a cup holder that wasn't banging up against my knees for $120. I was like, man, I felt for the fans that night. I looked around and said, wow, there's a lot of people here to see good basketball. I mean, come on. And now you go to some teams and they don't even play their roster. I mean, come on, man. Check out the prices of NBA games. The nosebleed seat at the Chase Arena, way up at the top, it was $21 for that. And there's a reason why it's $21, because it's a straight nosedive down. I mean, I looked up there and said, man, $21. Then it jumped from 21 to 55, then to 84, and this all around the nosebleed section, 84. You get down near the court, $535, $600, $1,000, $2,000. It's just ridiculous, the money that the NBA lower the prices. Then, if you're gonna not play your roster, lower the pricing for the fan, for the everyday fan. Luckily, I got in Wednesday as a media person for the game on Wednesday against the San Antonio Spurs. Spurs got a hell of a team. It was good basketball. The big man, Benyame, was playing well. Darren Fox. You saw good basketball on Wednesday night. But that Monday night game, for over $120, $130, and only, at least the good news was it only cost me $1.50 taking the train from the Fisherman's Wharf downtown all the way out to Chase Center, which is right on the waterfront, but I was coming from the other side of downtown over. It was a nice train ride, a lot of interesting people on the train. You know, you just look ahead. Remember, when you're on the train, don't stare at people. Just look straight ahead, man. But it was some hell of entertainment on that train as well. But that's a whole different story. You get to the arena, pay the money. They were charging $60, $80 for parking. Man, I can't see, how can you take a family of four to an NBA basketball game? That, and then you got the nerve to be tanking, trying to lose on purpose. Oh, come on, man. Something needs to be done. Man, the government, now this is something where you say, hey, man, this is fraudulent. This is truly fraudulent. Somebody got to pay the price for this. And that's the Radman rap. I'm fired up about that for my fellow citizens, not for myself, since I'm a media person and can fortunately get in some of these games at no cost and get free parking and so forth. But for the fans of the NBA, I feel you. I feel y'all NBA fans. I feel you. Bilal, I see you there. Bilal, welcome to the show, Bilal.
Yes, sir. What's going on, Radman? What's going on, Real Deal Sports Show? Listen, I agree that we have a serious problem with tanking in the NBA. but it's it's actually all over sports. I just think it's worse. It's a lot worse in the NBA because there's so many more games. If you ask me, and I don't think that there's any one solution. I think there's going to have to be multiple approaches that they take to try to reduce the tanking in the NBA. I think one of the things they need to do is they need to reward the teams that win. They need to figure out a way to, if you're winning, like losing shouldn't be rewarded. And to me, that's what the draft does. It rewards the teams that lose with an opportunity, which is why teams are tanking. They're saying there's a reward in it. So if you take out the incentive, if you remove the incentive for losing, then you position, you can start to weed out all the tanking that's going on. I think the other thing that the league needs to do is, get rid of the salary cap. You want to see you eliminate the incentive for losing and eliminate the salary cap. I guarantee you see teams stop tanking because it'll position organizations to say, hey, there's not only the reward at the end of the season for winning, but I also have an opportunity to gain better more talent going forward if that means I'm winning and teams are attracted to want to come here.
Absolutely. Internet passport must be still fun. Go ahead, Internet passport.
Oh yeah, it's just something where when you end up seeing teams, it's one thing where teams are bad and they lose and they need to get a higher pick to infuse some talents into them so they can have a better product there on the court. But it's one thing when you're like the Utah Jazz out there, blatantly you're up, you pull your starters out, and then you put your backups in just to lose the game. It's one thing when you're bad, but when you're so blatant, it is a problem. It happens across sports that you see, teams that want to lose, but at least they try and do it covertly. It's become such a problem that you can see it there blatantly happen, and teams don't care. And the commissioner obviously knows about it. Commissioner Adam Silver, he has informed the league's 30 general managers that the NBA plans to make anti-tanking rule changes next season. I'm like, heck, I want to see him now. I want to see him do some type of emergency meeting, pull these people together. People should be fined, and people should be...
You're fired! You're fired! You're fired! You're fired!
If you had to put yourself there into the player's shoes, one thing that you would notice is that, hey, I don't want to be a loser. I don't want to purposely lose. How does that affect you and your performance? What could happen next on the team? Could a player be approached by maybe by a GM, by a staff member, even a head coach to say, hey, they're getting there. We got too many eyes on us. Just miss a couple of the layups. But now we have to worry about that and players gambling and people having some type of issues when it comes to on court performances. Something has to change. It needs to happen now. But I also want to get and ask J-GILLZ at Zeal Talk Upstate his opinion when it comes to this matter. J-GILLZ, how are you? And what are your thoughts on the NBA and this tanking problem?
Hey, good morning, Real Deal Sports Show. Hey, man, I'm going to tell you just like this. To me, it's not just about the tanking in the league. Viewership, as we know, has been going down and been going down for a long time. If we look at the last finals that just was played, OKC versus the Pacers, two phenomenal teams. OKC, a fantastic team. Only 10 million views, the lowest viewed finals in NBA history. Nobody's watching these guys play. You know what I mean? Tanking, it's not just about the tanking. People aren't watching basketball right now, and it's because we don't have anybody to watch, if you ask me. If you look at the NFL, You look at guys like Jamar Chase, guys like Justin Jefferson, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. These guys running the league 15 years ago, but yet they've cemented themselves. They're people that we're watching continuously, and they're great. They're young talent that's phenomenal. We look at basketball, the young talent is just too young. They're just too young. 1 year in basketball, you don't have any time to develop and truly understand a player until they're about 5 years in the NBA, and then by then, they're reaching their prime. But we're not as connected like we were in the past, with those guys. To me, it's an oversaturated league right now. Too many people being in the NBA, and we're not allowed to really understand who they are unless it's a guy like the Boozer twins, or Cayenne Anthony. That storyline there because it's built in history. Those are legacy players. A guy like Ronnie James, But these regular folks, just like our Rochester athletes right now, we're connected to them, but that's a very small sample size. And I think that on a global scale, putting in these international athletes, and it's just we're not connected to the product on the court, and that's if you ask me. So when I'm NBA don't start for me until April anyways. I don't start watching till the playoffs. You know what I mean? Because the true talent are the guys who we're gonna see day in and day out, the Steph Currys of the world, and those the OGs who are gonna be making the playoffs doing things. But it's to me it's not a tanking problem, it's a viewership problem, and we're just not connected to the product on the field. On the court.
I think you make some great points, J-Gill. Internet Passport made a great point as well earlier that I wanted to circle back around to. When you see a game like what happened with the Utah Jazz, the first thought that came to my mind was the gambling issue. Like you raise so many questions and suspicions when you have a lead and then sit all your starters, and there's already so many questions around how what line has been drawn and where are we with the whole gambling, the legalized gambling issue, and players or different officials with respect to a franchise being involved. So when you have things like that happening in game and fans and media aren't oblivious to it, they see what's going on. So you want to be you got to be real careful about seeing what I mean. What questions that raises for the league, and I think that's the thing Adam Silver should be asking is how are fans going to receive that? Great points, J-GILLZ, and I think to that end, you're right. There's definitely a viewership issue, and I think that's as much as everyone likes. They dog out the players for for load managing and all that. I think there's so many teams now that you have a watered down product on the court, right? And they're talking about adding more teams to the league in the next couple of years, man. You're either reduce the number of games or make fewer teams, because the viewership is only going to continue to go down if you continue to add teams or add games to the schedule, because you're not going to get the same quality product on the court, and you're also not going to get the names that people recognize. So you want to, the more teams you add, the more you thin out fan bases. So when you have those, smaller market or those less historical teams like the Lakers got fans all over the world. The Knicks got fans all over the world. You know what I mean? The Bulls have fans all over the place. You know what I mean? And that was in part because of what Jordan was able to do. And the greatness he brought. So, but the smaller market teams, the OKCs, who are a much younger franchise, even though they were birthed out of the Seattle Supersonics, when you don't have those, historical fan bases attached to a franchise, and you're trying to build that up, and so outside of that local market, you don't have a whole lot of folks watching. And I was glad to see them win last year, because SGA is just, an unbelievable talent in the NBA. But you continuously water down the on-court product when you're going to thin out more fan bases, and then you don't have teams that have as many top tier players. So, you know, it's definitely tied to viewership. So yeah, Silva's got a big issue on his hand, and it doesn't seem like their plans are moving in the right direction to eliminate it.
Why not just go back to the old school and just, instead of having a lottery and all of this, just whoever's the worst team is the worst team, and they get the number one pick, and you go from first, second, third, fourth, just from the worst teams. Why have a lottery? To me, a lottery is just you trying to. To me, you could fix it and give one of the better a marquee city a chance of regrouping and being a top playoff team within really the next season. So to me, they need to get rid of that lottery and just go with the top. Who's the worst is the worst. Let them draft. Let them be first.
You gotta still have a bunch of tanking going on then.
That could happen. I see we have internet passport. We have guests over here. We have Top Gun is back with us. Viewing is down because the game is down. It's just a shoot, and no defense. Morris down on the Beltway, absolutely right. Because we used to seeing the give and go, all kinds of Karl Malone and them passing the ball, and the home. We used to see some really good basketball back in the day. He's right. That's a good point down there on the Beltway. Rob Parry said, don't even bother going to the game and things of that nature. They'll wake up sooner or later. A lot of interesting comments there. Yes, indeed.
Well, Radman, it's just, we all know that when it comes to the NBA, they want to continue to grow, make more money year over year, and they want to get more eyes on them. So just moving on, one thing that they had was the All-Star game there as well. But speaking of All-Stars, one of our All-Star sponsors is award-winning Marion Rivera Insurance Agency for auto, home, health, and life insurance at 1038 Lyle Ave or 511 Bean Road, Suite B. Give them a call. They help us save a lot of money, and they can help you save a lot of money. Give them a call at 585-360-0094. Once again, that's 585-360-0094. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe to Real Deal Sports Show with the Radman on YouTube and Facebook. And speaking when it comes to views, the NBA had their All-Star game. And I wanted to start over there with you there, Bilal. When it comes to the NBA All-Star game, they were seeking to showcase, the depth and the reach of the NBA as a global sport in there now. And they had three All-Star teams. Two of them comprised of Americans and one mainly with foreign-born players. And the shakeup produced some sizzle. Just want to know your reactions and overall thoughts to the All-Star game.
So the actual game itself, it was the format was I was okay with the teams. I'll start there. I was cool with having the different teams. You had a team of, let's say, seasoned, because they've been throwing around old head, and I might be considered an old head these days. So let's say the more seasoned players, LeBron, KD, Kawhi, Steph. Even though Steph didn't really play much, they had a team of those guys, and then you had the young gun team. You had Ant-Man on it, you know what I mean? All the younger players, Cade Cunningham, those guys were on the same squad, and then of course you had the international squad. Wemby, Luka was on the squad. Luka was on that team again, even though Luka and Jokic only played maybe the first 3 to 5 minutes, and then they sat down. I thought that World versus USA kind of they were capitalizing on the Olympic kind of energy that from the previous summer, which I felt like was a really smart idea to go with. But I think they still got some kinks to work out when it comes to having the whole the three teams in the way they played, because the season squad, the Stripe squad ended up playing 3 straight games, and you could tell by the third game, man, those legs were gone.
They were cooked.
Hey, young head, listen.
Them folks was cooked.
Cool your jets. Hey, but they were cooking they were cooking those young boys in the world squad beforehand. Yeah. So to me, you can't have a team go 2-0 and lose the third game that ends up making them have the same amount of wins and losses as a team that gets declared now the winner. I'm like, make that make sense. How are the Stripes and Stars both 2-1, but because the Stripes lost the last game to the Stars team, they're now the Stars are the NBA All-Star winner? Like, make it make sense. It didn't make sense. But I do think that people were at least glad to see that there was, the players played like they wanted to win, and that's all anybody wants to see. They still got some tweaks they need to make, but it was good to see players play hard.
Yeah, exactly. It was good to see something a little bit different, and I like the international shakeup. I love how the game has become global, and you see talented players can come from all walks of life. But J-GILLZ,
oh yeah.
Hey man, the old head, the unks, man, versus the young bucks, man. What are your thoughts on the NBA All-Star game, J-GILLZ?
Well, for one, I thought that the NBA did a fantastic job of dividing up the teams, the world versus the USA. And to our earlier point, we talked about viewership, talk about the product on the court, and even with these great players, a lot of it is we're not relatable anymore. We're not. I don't have any relation to SGA. It could be an age difference, or it could just be culturally. It's just not what we're used to seeing from great NBA players like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, these cats. And what I saw somebody I could relate to, Anthony Edwards. He brought pride, and I loved how he hustled and how he played. You know what I mean? And just the energy that he brought to the game. To me, I thought that was needed. So starting with the breakdown, I thought the breakdown was fantastic. It put a lot of pride into the players. I thought we were going to see a little bit more because it wasn't a true world versus USA, because when you don't got Luka and Giannis and Nikola Jokic, that's a lot of heavy hitters right there who was not able to truly give us what we wanted. But Wemby held it down. No, that's no ifs, ands, or buts. Wemby held it down. He played with his heart out. He played with passion. But then to see even the divided between the Stripes and the Stars, and see those old heads versus those young cats, and that's always been a thing too. That's always been a thing I feel during All-Star Weekend, where the old guys kind of set the tone of being lazy, not really playing hard.
Watch your mouth, man.
That's what they did.
It was BTA that first. It was BTA that first game. Don't do that. It was BTA.
But they got blown out that last game. They couldn't hang with it. They couldn't hang with it. They turned on another notch. They said, "All right, y'all, this ain't the YMCA no more. Let's get it." And Brian and them was done. They wasn't even going back to the other end of the court. My love, come on, man. We saw what it was.
They're giving the young dudes getting breaks, and then the old dudes got to stay out there. Come on, man.
But no. But I'll say, I thought that this was, to your point, one of the better All-Star games, more competitive All-Star games that we saw in a long time. It likened me back to a couple years ago when they had Anthony and James Harden and Team Bron versus Team Giannis. Those years in the All-Star games, like those last 5 minutes, really used to go in offensively and defensively. So it likened me back to that, and I think that they can clean it up just a little bit. But I do think that moving forward, this could definitely be a staple in the league, and it brings more pride to the USA players that we haven't really seen in a while. Edwards is a fantastic player, but we haven't seen him play this level in an All-Star game really ever. So I got to give kudos to that, and for him wanting to play out. And I think a part of that was because he wanted to show not just the world and show that he was better than the international players, but also those seasoned folks down the line. He's showing, hey man, it's his time, and maybe he will consider being the face of the NBA, or as he said, the co-face, the USA face of the NBA.
Well, Anthony Edwards, he did earn the Kobe Bryant Trophy as the Kia 2026 NBA All-Star MVP. So he did show out. He scored 32 points in 3 games for the U.S. Stars as they won the the All-Star Game championship over the stripes, and we did end up having a great comment. Let's see. Oh yeah, from the good old Top Gun. He said it's an all-star show, not a game. And he also said that because it's called an all-star game, that's why they won. Okay, all right. Everyone ends up having their opinions. Ultimately, what I felt like J-GILLZ was saying was something a little bit like this.
I don't give a what you think. Your thoughts ain't my thoughts.
Was he holding the Bible?
Thoughts ain't my thoughts. But that was one thing that ended up happening. But for the NBA, they did say that that this new format, let's see, ended up having its highest views since 2011. So something that did get a lot of people there to watch, a lot of people to see the game, and of course to help it grow. It said it averaged 8.8 viewers on multiple networks per the NBA. So this is something I think that's gonna be repeated next year. But they can always continue to, to tweak and modify it just to keep that interesting. There is all. Any final thoughts when it comes to the NBA, gentlemen? If anything you would like to see or change?
Yeah, one, I'd be curious to see if the viewership ratings, boost was just a byproduct of a new format. Whenever you go to something new or you try something new, there's enough curiosity and interest peak that people want to tune in and want to see what you got going on. So I'm wondering if that might be a part of it. And how long that newness lasts before it wears off. The other thing is, I gotta give a shout out to Dame Lillard, man. This man hasn't played a minute of on-court basketball due to rehabbing and recovering from the Achilles injuries that he suffered in the first round of the playoffs last year. But that's what we need to see. That's what we need to see is guys who love what they do so much that they're saying, any way I can build on to the brand, I'll make it known. And so huge shout out to Dame Lillard for coming out there and not only participating in, but showing out in the 3-point contest and winning. I feel like they, the dunk contest, that's another conversation for another time because we can go down a rabbit hole there. But the NBA needs to revamp it. They still need some work there. But huge shout out to Dame Lillard, man, and coming out there and putting on a show during All-Star Weekend, man, because not everyone would have done that.
Right. Absolutely. And the
and
format's not set up on that pass, but that format is not conducive for older guys. I can tell you, once we get started, we just get started and got to go. You sit us down for a half hour sit down. It's hard to get those bodies back up again and get them back into prime time action. It's tough.
Yeah.
Especially when you use the load management. They were just trying to give him some load management. That's all that was.
Man,
Brian and Steph, they love their load management.
I can't wait till J-GILLZ hit 40. I can't wait till J-GILLZ hit 40 plus. And you know what I mean? All this little cute stuff you talking now, it's gonna be gone.
Nah, but they should have 2 teams, 4 teams, 2 US, 2 world. They play it out, and those winners, go to the championship round. Simple as that.
Easier said than done.
Yeah.
There we go.
You want more competition on the floor. The NBA could easily just say, "Hey, we're gonna increase the purses." You know what I mean, for various things, whether it's the 3-point contest, the dunk contest, or the All-Star game itself. Winner, make it a winner take all. Hey, you put a couple mil on the line for every player on the winning squad. If it's $2 million, you know what I mean, on the line, and hey, loser get nothing. I guarantee you start seeing players play like we saw them play on last weekend, and you won't have to do a whole lot of cute stuff after that. If fines deter people from doing dumb stuff, then increasing the money would make them, would promote them and incentivize them to do some, play tougher.
Because the fact that we haven't gotten a John Moran or a Zion Williamson or nobody in the dunk contest, Anthony Edwards, it's a shame. It's a shame.
That great point. I think, man, honestly, if I was Ja Morant's people, his team, man, like the smart move, it would have, because it would have begun to like rehab his profile.
Absolutely.
That would be a great profile rehab move for him. Not because, and you may not feel like you need it, but clearly there's residue of what people, what people thought about, why you got suspended all those games.
No pun intended with the residue.
Yeah, and they need them because I missed them at that game. I didn't know who the hell those guys were wearing the Grizzlies uniform against the Golden State. They played a great game. They should have won the game. They ended up making errors at the end. They turned the ball over stupidly twice in the last 30 seconds and cost them the layup. Al Horford, man, that Al Horford, he looked like he my age, man. But that cat with the shaved head now, all spot middle, man. Oh man, he looked like definitely a YMCA type dude. But man, he was making clutch shots for them, and he won that game for him, 114-113, hitting that final shot to win the game. Man, the crowd went crazy, man. So it was a good Monday night at the Chase Center.
Not a YMCA there, Cat. Oh man. Well, good thoughts on the NBA there, fellas, and thank you, Top Gun. Don't they already get paid enough? Hey, I ain't gonna be a pocket watcher. It's just they work in the conditions that they have there, and it ends up being a little bit different. But speaking when it comes to money, just also want to thank Advantage Federal Credit Union. Go to them online at AdvantageFCU.org for auto loans, Visa cards, student checking accounts, and much more. Once again, just want to thank Advantage Federal Credit Union for being one of our sponsors on Real Deal Sports Show with the Radman. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow the channel there. If you're watching there live now, just do us a favor and hit that like button. It's a small thing, but ends up being the world to us. And one thing when it comes to being smart while at your job, someone ran into a little bit of an incident there when it comes to baseball and the MLB. End up having the MLB, the Major League Baseball Players Association, Tony Clark ended up having a little bit of trouble after having an inappropriate relationship. Well, let's see. It looks like he is resigned after an investigation by outside counsel discovered evidence that he had an inappropriate relationship with his sister-in-law, who had been a union employee since 2023. A person familiar with the union's deliberations told the Associated Press. So this is a little bit of an interesting situation there. We're still waiting for some information to come on out about that. But gentlemen, starting with you there, Radman, just want to know your thoughts, reactions to this. Tony Clark, someone that's been highly respected, to end up resigning because of this investigation. But Radman, take the floor. What are your thoughts?
Excellent ball player. I loved him. He was a decent, good baseball player. And then coming in as being the Major League Baseball Players Association president after they had some turmoil going on before. I just don't get. I was kind of surprised, but then not surprised. I'm like, gosh, man, I don't know what's up with these cats, man. They're coming in here and then they're gonna give their side piece a job. Man, you don't supposed to give her a job, man. But she's supposed to have a job already, or you supposed to be taking care of her apartment or something, man, paying the bill, paying the cost to be the boss, man. Come on, Tony. Man, how you going to give the girl a job? And then people say, hey, man, what is she doing here, man? And why is her salary so high? Man, what is she just folding envelopes and sending out the mail, the union mail? What is that? Who is that? Wait a minute, that's his sister-in-law. Then next thing you know, it just makes people worried because they see it in front of their face. They're like, well, where did she come from? And why is she always with Tony? And why are they always getting in the car and holding hands and leaving leaving the Marriott and the Hiltons and all that? Why is she always by his side? What's going? Man, it's just ridiculous, man. How many times we gonna see this with these guys, man? This is about what? He's like the fifth guy in the last 5 months, 6 months that we got to come on the air and talk about Come on, Tony. And I'm not talking about the band out in California either, man. I'm talking about Tony Clark, man. Come on, Tony Clark. It's just stupid, man. Stupid. Just call it what it is, man. You're not thinking. And you're paid to think as the president of the organization. You never bring your side piece and give him a job in front of everybody and think it's cool. It's not cool, man. It's not cool at all. Now they're in turmoil. They got big meetings coming up, big contract negotiations going, and Tony would have been perfect for the job. He was doing a great job as the president, but here he is, outside forces. He just thought he was a little greater than he is, right? J-GILLZ, I see you shaking your head. J-GILLZ, what can he lead by example? He just saw what happened to other guys.
Now that's crazy. That's crazy. Now I just want to know. Now is this your wife's sister, or is this your brother's? Is this your brother's wife? I need to know because that's crazy.
Oh, I didn't even thought of that, man.
Is this your brother's wife? Is this your wife's sister? That's what I want to know. It's my sister-in-law, but I'm like, come on, man.
Oh man,
unbelievable. I don't want to know. I don't want to know who it is. And that might have been. Yo, we got 2 Radman rants for the day, man. We riding real good off these Radman rants. But to that I said, man, I'm still trying to process. He said, you don't get the side piece of job. I was expecting him to say, man, you got to stop having these side pieces. He said, you just don't get her a job. The reality is when you're in these high profile positions, no matter where or what situation you do to try to keep things covered up that you might have going on off the job, understand that once it gets out, because you represent this entity, there's going to be repercussions, and I think that's what he's dealing with, is the repercussions of what comes with having and holding those high profile positions. And is great as he might be at the job, though, what no employer is gonna do is allow themselves to be positioned to take kind of credibility hits, and when you have stuff going on like that, I guess, well, never mind. This is a sports show. I was about to say the only place you can get away with that is somewhere else, but we're gonna keep the sports, and not politics. But so yeah, we just don't do it. Yeah,
absolutely.
Get your family a job, and your people. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Not just
no side pieces. No side pieces.
Thank you, Top Gun. Top Gun Beltway. He's on point. I know he's up in that. He's thinking. There you go. You get your family a job, your people's, not your side piece. There you go. Hopefully Tony can figure it out, and whoever takes over his position will be that much better. And I see we moving on to college basketball. Everybody had their comment on there. College basketball. I want to say just for the Rochester note, Bilal, you made a good point about a week or so ago when Arizona was playing a big game against Kansas, and he had 2 Rochester products. I wasn't here. I was still in San Francisco on the Bay Area, but I wasn't here in Rochester. How come people here in Rochester don't seem to get behind the Rochester products that are making it happen and making it good? And no matter what, in this case, it happened to be college basketball. What is it?
I think there was a lot of, like, in the conversations I was having, the people were talking about it. What I was disappointed about was not seeing it on a higher profile kind of, there should have been a watch party somewhere. There should have been an organizing group or an organizing body of people saying, we've got 2 Rochester products playing at the highest level of the college game right now. Arizona was ranked number 1 in the nation, undefeated. Kansas ranked 13th at the time. And they're both we're not talking about role players, on the team. We're talking about the guys on their team, both kids from Rochester. I just feel like, you know, we've got to do more collectively, because again, I heard there was a lot of chatter and conversation amongst the community about the game, and hey, making sure we watching the game, you know, just making sure that we were watching the game. But I felt like there wasn't enough being done beyond that to collectively organize and promote the game, because again, I feel like any other city, you know, would have been more intentional about making sure that two kids from their town that were playing at that level were promoted.
J-GILLZ, your comments. I know we talked about this several times, J-GILLZ. What is it about Rochester lifting up Rochester?
You know, I think it just takes that leadership, you know, implementation, that community, you know, and unfortunately, everybody tries to be the, you know, tries to do it on their own, but truly, it takes, you know, it takes leadership and collaboration, and we just got to do a better job of that as a community. You know, I think that these are some things that we should work on. I don't want to speak too much on that because, you know, we got to be the doers and not the sayers, you know, and we just got to make it happen. But it is a beautiful thing to see, just the folks from Rochester being, you know, we got two people, you know, top of their game in college basketball doing their thing. You know, we got a plethora of talent everywhere, from the Desmond Greens and the UFCs to the, you know, the Ezra Fairs and, you know, getting drafted in WNBA. We got talent everywhere in Rochester, but we have to do a better job of just, you know, highlighting it and making sure that, you know, that they're celebrated, because we're not picking and choosing, you know, that we got to stop the picking and choosing and just celebrate everybody who is doing something. Especially, I mean, it's still, last time I checked, it's still February. It's Black History Month. Shout out to the Radman below and their past work, because you guys are Black History as well. So thank y'all for your work and service. You know, we got to stop picking and choosing. Simple as that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And just on a note on that point, just stop complaining. People who complain about Rochester, this and that, and this, people who live here and born and raised, come on, y'all. Just stop complaining and talk about all the good things, because there's a lot of good things about Rochester, New York, a lot of good things about the people that have grown up and gone on to be successful. You got doctors, lawyers, not only athletes, doctors, lawyers, people in all walks of life from Rochester, New York. Everywhere we go, we always seem to run into somebody from Rochester, New York. In San Francisco, ran into some people from Rochester that's originally from Rochester, doing well out there on the West Coast. You always run into people from this market. So let's talk up our market. Instead of saying something bad, don't say nothing at all, or at least just say something positive. If you can't say nothing, just don't say nothing at all, or better yet, speak up to people of Rochester, because there's a lot of good things, a lot of great things happening in Rochester. These training camps and programs, these kids are getting in here at earlier ages, 6, 7, 8 years old. They're being trained, different sports, different activities, since we're talking sports of all sorts, and they're playing sports, volleyball, soccer. The young lady with soccer doing great. Layla Edwards doing great. Hockey player, African-American hockey player, doing very well. Bishop Kearney is supplying a lot of hockey players, women hockey players, to their, not only to their team, but to the Olympic team. And they're winning gold medals in the Olympics. They're blowing teams out over there in the Olympics. So there's a lot of great things about Rochester. Keep Rochester positive, y'all. Right, Internet Passport?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know, till Internet Passport pops on, I totally agree. Radman, you know, I mean, think about it, right? We just been talking about the NBA right now. Who's the number one seed in the Eastern Conference for the NBA?
Detroit.
And that team they're a reflection of what they're known for, and that's defense. And the anchor of that defense,
yes,
is Isaiah Stewart. I'm like, you know, the nickname is funny or whatever, but I don't like it. I feel like it's a disrespect to who he is. You know what I mean? You know, I think he plays tough, hard-nosed basketball, in a throwback style, and he's not gonna be bullied. He's not gonna be pushed around, and he brings a toughness and a grit. And I think he's in the perfect town for it. You know what I mean? You know, the historic bad boy Pistons made their mark on their hallmark was defense, and then when they were relevant during the Chauncey Billups era, they had Ben Wallace, who was Defensive Player of the Year. You know what I mean? And, big shot Chauncey Billups. They had Rasheed Wallace. Man, that team was known for their defense, and now you have them relevant again. And the anchor of that defense is a Rochester young man. And so shout out and salute to them. Salute to all the talent that Rochester produces. And and Cade Cunningham is, he gets to play as free as he does because he knows he's got a team that's backing him up, and bringing that toughness every night on both sides of the floor.
I never thought he was going to be. I'm shocked at how good Cade Cunningham is, because I saw him I think he was at Oklahoma State or some of those Midwest, and they kept announcing, they kept saying, man, this kid's going to be great. And I never could see it in his college game. But man, I'm really impressed with how Cade Cunningham, after he took a couple years, got in the weight room, got a little bit stronger. Man, I am amazed at how he's dominated. Just the way they talked about him in college, said that they kept saying in the pros, this kid was going to be the prototypical star coming up. And I never could see it. I kept saying, they lost their mind. I don't see nothing with this kid, but he's showing it. I was wrong, and they were right about him. That's somebody that the people were right about, projecting his future, that they said his game was much more suited for the NBA, and it definitely looks that way. He
plays with different gears, different speeds at different levels of the game. Man, he's got the whole bag. Cade Cunningham got the whole bag. Yeah, he's phenomenal.
And if you want to end up getting the whole bag, and you could do that by starting by building your business, same way we have with Kimmy Does It Best custom website design, and with ongoing maintenance, Kimmy can help grow your online business. Just visit KimmyDoesItBest.com. I said KimmyDoesItBest.com. Dr. Umar 3 times. KimmyDoesItBest.com. Contact her at support@KimmyDoesItBest.com. And then, gentlemen, it's Black History Month. We had a lot of different facts, points, history being made. We're watching it live, but we ended up seeing a gentleman transition there. We ended up losing a legend that had an impact there. We want to end up just saying, rest in power, rest in peace to Reverend Jesse Jackson there. Just want to tribute this show there to him. Salute to that brother for all he has done to help us get to where we are there today. We learned a lot from him, and we're going to take that and moving forward there for him there as well.
And the
so just a prayers up to you.
Yes, indeed. He came on the #1 sports show in the nation, Pat Freeman's show on Radio Row back in New York City. That had to be like 2014 Super Bowl when it was in New York City. And it just so happened we looked up and got him on for 5. He said, I can give you about a couple minutes. Hell, he stayed on 10 minutes with us. He did a great. It was just great to have Reverend Jesse Jackson. And then we saw him the next day there on Radio Row, the second day. Man, you guys need me again? I said, anytime. We good to see. We good to see him at the Fritz Pollard Alliance and everything. Seemed like we kept running into Reverend Jesse Jackson and his crew and Joseph Bryan and all of them. It was a good time. I went back and thought about those memories of him. And the last time I really got a chance to talk to him and have him up on the show, and the Mighty Over, well, did a great job with him. He was just such a freedom fighter, a civil rights advocate. And he just had that presence about him that you just knew he is somebody. Yes, indeed. This is somebody to look up to. This pride when they think of Reverend Jesse Jackson.
And folks forget that he ran for president twice. People forget about that. That's why I think it's always important during this month, and honestly throughout the whole year, just to learn the impact of other folks there, other folks with that same melanin and what they did there throughout this country, and the major impacts that we had, because not everything is going to be taught in schools. So sometimes you have to go out and dig for that information, or go to resources that will be able to provide it.
Yeah, to your point, Radman, I just want to say to everybody out there, there's a time to look at the complicated and nuanced legacy of anyone's life, right? But when they pass, you know what I mean, let's be thoughtful, mindful, and considerate that there's loved ones and people and families that are mourning and grieving, and allow that to not be the time that we start to dissect the legacy of someone, because every one of us has some makes and misses in our lives, and some some things that we may not be as proud of, so and if we weren't talking about it in the immediacy prior to someone's transition, let's allow a family that time to just remember their loved one, that's going on, and in a way that they don't have to feel like that they've got to defend them. You know what I mean?
And I just want to say,
Message.
most definitely, that was the Reverend Jesse Jackson, civil rights activist. That was the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. A lot of these bases and a lot of these civil rights and a lot of this tradition was founded on church and on the gospel and on principles that truly mattered. You know what I mean? So I just want to thank the Reverend Jesse Jackson for his time. And we can't just bash church all the time. A lot of our political figures, a lot of our figureheads, and a lot of the change that was made truly came from the church as well. So I just want to highlight that point too.
Absolutely. And you can read it here, the music BacSpin coming in. Challenger Community News, Western New York's largest weekly African newspaper. Check out the Jesse Jackson article in there. A lot of salute to Jesse Jackson. He's on the cover of this week's Challenger, appropriately so. Check it out at most businesses in the community. Also, Nurse Teresa Bowick's article on the taste of the NFL. Very nice article. Very well done. Had a nice time. She came on and joined the crew down in out in San Francisco, out in the Bay Area. And some of her articles will be appearing in Challenger Community News. And the first one is in this week, the taste of the NFL. And she gives you the breakdown on what took place there. Coming up next is the summit with the Fritz Pollard Alliance and Mr. John Wooten. That'll be coming up. Excellent article. And I want to thank everybody that came out from the Rochester area and all across the country that came out and was a part of the show. David, Bernadette, On Stage Plus Television Network, the whole crew that came out to San Francisco to be a part of Real Deal Sports Show. Thank you so much for coming out and pick up Challenger Community News and most businesses in the community. Soul Food Sundays. I know BacSpin, all of us will probably be over there. Soul Food Sunday, Jamaica Soul. Don't forget about them. Check them out. And, of course, the #1 buffet in town. I know, Bilal, where's the #1 buffet in town, Bilal?
Listen, Talia of India in the Winjeff Plaza. Go check them out. Get you one of those lunch specials. You will not be disappointed. Listen, Radman, you done put me on to it. 11:30 to 2 p.m. Dinner, 4:40 to 8:30 p.m. 3259 South Winton Road in the Winjeff Plaza. Again, experience the award-winning authentic Indian food in a warm, inviting atmosphere. Talia of India, man. Listen, go check out the lunch buffet or dinner at South Winton Road in the Winjeff Plaza, 3259 South Winton Road.
I'll be there after church tomorrow.
Yes, indeed. Appreciate y'all, fellas, man. Great show today. Very, very informative, and great tribute to Jesse Jackson too, fellas. That was touching. I appreciate that, man. We lost a great leader in the black community, for real.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Keep it where you need it, Rock City. That's the Real Deal Sports Show every Saturday morning, 8 a.m. I look forward to chopping it up with the fellas again next week. Same time, same station. Yeah, dig. Y'all don't go nowhere. Coming up next is the Back in Time Mix Show right here on the Beat 105.5.